Alfie is a WOR race winner.
Jensen makes it 5 in a row.
Danny Berejnay wins on debut.
Shanaka returns to winning ways in WOR.
Season 12 sees a new man. It's Shadow. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jensen is the new king of PlayStation.
From the back row of the grid, against all odds, Nicholas Longy wins the title.
Goes past the safety car.
What has gone on here?
Bowman spins,
Stunning move from the Spaniard.
He's taken out Rambo. Here comes Longy.
we're going four-way down to turn one.
Oh, he's taking him out.
The captain runs complete.
Sonic to the inside.
Shadow wins the Brazil. Absolutely sensational.
Hello everyone and welcome to World Online Racing Season 13 PC Tier 3. This week we are in Bahrain, wonderful, wonderful track of Bahrain. We have a sprint race for you first and then the main race. I am here with the wonderful Joshua Davis, who is currently on the cameras, I believe, if my stream is working properly, let's hope. But yes, this should be a very, very interesting race given the, the sprint, which is new in this game, I'm pretty sure. In 22. I'm not sure they had this in 21, did they? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Oh, no. Voice chat's not working. Ag! El Gato, why do you do this to me? Why are you not coming through the audio? 1 second. Cameras are going to go weird for a second. Let's see if there's a reason why. Yes, there is. Come on, voice chat. Where are you? Voice chat, voice chat. Right, say something.
Hello, hello.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Hello.
Ah, you're quiet, but I can hear you. There we go. Right, go for it.
Hello. Right. Yes, we're back for the sprint race for Bahrain Tier 3. Yeah, it should be a pretty interesting one, of course. Obviously, it's been a pretty tight championship so far with a lot of really exciting things that have happened in the meanwhile. Obviously, here for the sprint race, 10 laps, and then into a 29-lap race, which sets up the sprint race results into that grid order. So it's definitely all the way out there. Obviously, we've got the short as well for the sprint to qualify for that one. A lot of top drivers in here that you might remember. Connor Muir, obviously from the Xbox stage, Shazoo left it, I think he was back in the day on the Xbox. AVC Tass, another very quick guy. Marcus Dowler as well. A lot of very quick guys in this tier. So it's all out there ready to see who can fight for this title and bring at the end of the season.
Absolutely. We do have the actual standings just to quickly run through now, just before we get into qualifying. I'll be sure that we're not actually in that yet. We are not. It's just about to start, but we'll quickly run them down anyway. So currently, first, second, third across the board is Thomas Laminen up in first, the AlphaTauri driver, then followed by the Ferrari of Mark 313, and followed by the Aston Martin of Cadorningolo. Then we have Marcus Stolle, then we have Tempus, which is Nalvez, Molnar Andre in 6th, Maloney in 7th, Alessandro Madas in 8th, Tobes GG in 9th, and Istvan Negi in 10th. Please tell me if I'm pronouncing any of their names wrong. I'm sure you'll know how they're pronounced. And then just to quickly run down positions beyond that. So we got Danico in 11th, followed by Taz in 12th, Javier Fernandez in 13th, Hassith in 14th, Walen Farah in 15th, F1 Legend in 16th, Lethal Sniper in 17th, Alex Bulger in 18th, followed by Fritzen in 19th, Conor Boy in 20th, LIS in 21st, and Thomas Lobadash in 22nd. Everyone else is a reserve driver and has not currently registered a race, I believe. Looks like we are into qualifying now. A little bit of haze. We haven't had the track yet, but I will run us straight through into that right now. Fingers crossed the frame rate holds. There we go. Lovely. Already got the Red Bull off. Marcus Stolle leaving the pits by the looks. So it lets me lock onto the car. Who's on the out lap? There we go. That's weird. OBS, the wonderful OBS. Quickly, just give me an audio check.
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
Yep, lovely. I just want to make sure no one's being deafened by the video game. There we go. This is something that F1 has had in this game and not the last game, is when you go to control something on your controller and then switch to your keyboard, it doesn't vibrate. Whereas now, it does. It's immensely useless. So, how is that holding up for you, and are you able to see decent enough track map and lap data?
Yes, I'm okay. I'm actually back in my game.
Oh, you're in the game now?
Updated. I should be. I'll just quickly...
I'll keep the stream up just in case, but we have drivers currently on their outlaps. We will jump properly to them once we get some flying laps started. Looks like the first driver across the line will most likely be Fionn McKee, who I believe is a reserve driver in this race now, coming in for the race. Because I don't recognise the name. Heating up the soft tyres. God, I absolutely love that Williams. There you are. I can see you just joined. Lovely. I
Lovely
can now
stuff.
really super quickly stop this stream because it's overloading my computer and jump back into the race. So yes, we have Fionn McKee running through on the flying lap. First driver, hopefully to set a time, if no track limits are awarded in terms of penalties. Bahrain, one of those tracks that inevitably will get people track warnings. That controller is annoying the hell out of me. Stupid controller.
There we go.
There we go. Lovely. I wish I had a second PC just to run the stream off. It'd be super useful.
Yeah, definitely. So Javier Fernandez currently going in towards turn one on the Alpine. Obviously running the soft compound tyre. 4 choices of tyres this game all on the soft compound tyres. I don't think you can run the mediums anymore. That's not an option in this game. So obviously a pretty much of a benefit for us commentators as you get all 4 very quick laps on those tyres and all to their best ability for all the drivers. So it's always a bonus when you see those kind of things happening. Javier Fernandez in towards sector 2 into the double left-hander, triple left-hander actually, of sector 2, one of the trickiest corners on the circuit here in Bahrain. Bahrain in the DRS zone, down the back straight into the DHL side. Fionn McKee with a 28.1, immediately replaced by Marcus Stahler with a 27.734 in the Red Bull machine. One of the quickest drivers in the F1 scene, really coming up and coming is the Norwegian man. And here comes Javier Fernandez, 6.353. I wonder if he has backed out of that one, not quite sure. Actually, no, that's a pretty quick time actually.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what I'm talking about that. I was predicting a little bit quicker, but realise we're on the F122 game. The cars are a little bit slower than a few seasons ago. Alex Boualga with a quick lap time, 27.461 puts him on pole position. Javier Fernandez only P5 with 28.213.
Just going to jump on board with Boyle and Ferrara as they come round towards this final corner. That's also a very difficult corner to get right. You can lose absolutely tons of time on the final corner. They are just going to cross the line to set them with a second place. That is 1:27.587, so definitely a pretty decent time. Apologise for the beeps in the background. And they are going to back off their lap just there. And the next driver, I believe, to come round for a lap will be, again, Fionn McKee. Can they get that lap back to the top of the board? That's the main thing. Tyres drop off remarkably quickly on Bahrain as well because of the temperature. Although it is easier to get your tyres up to temperature as well, so.
Yeah, indeed it is. I believe Fionn McKee has decided to come back in towards the pit lane, so he's done with that one. FR Mark is coming towards the line now, very wriggly out of the final corner. DRS wide open for the Ferrari man. Across the line he comes into P8 with 28.180, just in front of Javier Fernandez there in P9. FR manager, of course, Mark Deloy, I believe that is a pretty okay banker lap time. Sees him into P8, still a lot more time to prove, though. Gordon N'Golo, I believe, is about to cross the line. He's currently purple in sector 2 with a 6.102, and that is pretty scary for the likes of Marcus Stahler and a lot of other drivers. Shazoo Fritz, an F1 legend, who's currently in P4, running the final corner. Comes the Aston Martin machine of Gordon N'Golo. DRS wide open. Here he comes, and what's it going to be for the Aston Martin? It's P4, 27.824. A little bit of time lost in sector 3, but not a bad one out of the question. Van Nagy has just crossed the line to start his first fire, and that was so as Andre Molnar. So the two Mercedes go in tangent with one another. I believe they're the only guys on a lap so far. So the Mercedes men yet to start a lap. Alnar Moldre is currently behind, with this Van Nagy in front in P18 as we have on board with the sector 1 split. Right on those curves very aggressively, don't want to touch them too much. 28.300 is supposedly a purple sector 1 as he comes towards sector 2. A long right-hander coming up towards into 3, up into 4 for the traction, staying tight towards the right-hand side into a double left-hander, braking just as you enter into the turn. Fourth gear action up from third for the traction as again DRS wide open as you enter under the DHL sign. He's got a car in front of him, I believe that's the Aston Martin, and that is Gordon N'Golo just on his in lap. Round in the left-hander comes Van Nagy, the future esports driver, one of the top Hungarian drivers so far, really riding that curve on the right-hand side. A 6.309 is slower than Gordon N'Golo's time, so that is not purple. A little bit of a slide on exit, gets away with it momentarily as he comes towards the final corner. Yellow flags just in towards the pit lane. Someone backing up for their time. Another correction of the wheel, riding on towards the curb like a skateboard out of the final corner. DRS wide open for the Mercedes car, and he puts it into P7. Not bad at all. And Andre Molnar, his teammate in FES, has just beaten into 27.988, 6th and 8th for the Mercedes crew.
Was that a small break on the line I saw from Istvan Nagy potentially?
It might have been.
It was a very slight break on the line. I'm not sure. I've never been entirely sure why drivers break right on the line on a qualifying lap. I've never been entirely 100% sure why that happens, unless it's just, you know, the word that begins with D and rhymes with a certain part of your kitchen. So, I don't like saying it because it will curse it. But yes, who have we got currently on a lap? Let's have a look. We have the car, I believe, of Conor. We're about to finish the outlap at some point. These two Mercs just sitting near each other. Oh, there's some lovely flickering lights. I'm going to switch off that camera angle. Yeah, any drivers specifically that have sort of are standout drivers within Tier 3, because obviously with any league, there's many tiers, but it's incredibly close across all of them because obviously you can't fit 40-50 drivers into one tier.
No, you can't. You can only have 20 at maximum, or 20 full-time drivers. Probably the main ones that probably flicker an eye to me: Marcus Dowler, Gordon N'Golo, Istvan Nagy, Shazoo Fritz and Maloney, obviously, an Xbox Tier 2 high up and went into Tier 1 last season as well. Tass as well, very quick driver. There's a load of very quick drivers in this tier. A few I haven't heard of, unfortunately, but I'm sure they're pretty quick on their days and looking likely. Likes of Alex Brauger, Bulan Farrar, and a lot of other drivers, F1 Legend as well. A lot of quick guys in this tier as well. So my PC's decided to crash on me, which is absolutely fantastic. I'll try and get back in as quickly as possible. But yeah, there's still a lot of very quick drivers in this tier.
Absolutely. Good old F1. Loves to crash. Yes, we currently have I believe that's fastest first sector by Marcus Thorler. So that'll be interesting. We're going to stick with them for this lap. It's currently on a pretty decent run. Not wanting to... There was a lot of wheel spin through the corner there. That will not help on the lap time front, but coming through Esports corner now. Round. People say this isn't one of the easier corners. I say this is one of the harder ones. You know, the very fast left and then right-hander after the DHL area.
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty tight one. So easy
to spin the car. Alex Ball just still up in that pole position, but we are going to see Marcus Thorler come around a final corner just using all of the track and curb. Where will they end up? Second with a 1:27.537, still a good 1/10 of a second almost between first and second place. I say that, and then Alex Bulger goes and increases that gap to even more to first place. So we've still got 6 minutes 40 seconds, according to my screen, left in qualifying. So we've got plenty of time for people to bring a shock lap timer onto the boards. You've got Bualan Farrar coming round to say his lap time, or is he going to dive into the pits? That is diving into the pits. What else we got? Let's have a look. Thomas Lobadash coming around? Yes, Tom Lobadash. First set time from him. That is a 6th position, 1:27.842. Doing a nice little reverse on Kadorn N'Golo's 1:27.824. I'm assuming it's a very busy track right now, so drivers trying their absolute best. We've currently only got 2 drivers who haven't set a time. That's Nalvez and Neox. Now, Nalvez on the out lap. Neox not so much and is on a flying lap. First lap. Some people don't like the Alfa Romeo. I do like its livery. It's really nicely done. How's the game going?
Very slowly, which is pretty worrying. I've had this a lot of time where it just buffers and just doesn't is not ideal.
Oh, the whole PC's gone.
No, it's just the game when it runs.
And here comes Neox to set their time. That is going to be a 1:28.007. So close to the sub 128s. Lots of drivers back into the pits. We currently have, just trying to spot which drivers are coming around. That is Tom Lobadash going around for another lap time set. The Alpine behind, certainly getting a nice toe off of this one. That is, of course, Javier Fernandez. Followed by his teammate, Taz. So one thing I wish they'd change, the colours between Alpine and Williams. And Red Bull. Because they're all very similar shades of blue. We got out on the track right now. Let's have a nice little look around. So we've got Neox, and we do actually have the Mercedes of Istvan Nagy coming around to finish the fast lap. Let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. Make sure I'm not missing anything. That is an 8th position. Very few drivers on the track, I guess, all gearing up for the final pushes, basically. Andre Molnar, can they improve on their time? Absolutely, jumping up into 6th position with 1:27.775. And a massive lock-up into the first corner there. And currently, it's Mercedes only on the Bahrain circuit. Soon to include the Alpine of Javier Fernandez. F1 still being F1?
Yeah, that's just being very slow, which is very annoying. I have no idea why it's not working. I might have to resort just watching the stream, I think, because it doesn't really want to play ball, which is not ideal at all.
Should only be a couple of seconds out of the stream, thankfully.
Right.
But it's not ideal. And here come all the drivers getting ready to set those laps. Just preparing to make one final push. That's Marcus Thorder just come out of the pit lane. Currently, the first driver to cross the line on this final segment of qualifying will be Andre Molnar. If they have not already stopped their lap, I believe they have. That is a very slow Mercedes, which has incidentally brought out the yellow flag. I'm not sure why the Mercedes is going that slow. Have they run out of fuel? Has that Mercedes run out of fuel? Or are they just blocking the pit lane entrance for no reason? That is incredibly weird. They're definitely back in the pit lane, that's for certain. Anyway, who is currently on their flying lap? Javier Fernandez currently will be the first driver to cross on this final segment. Obviously not including the Mercedes, because they dived into the pits. Istvan Nagy not far behind Javier, however, with Andre Molnar retiring from the session.
Right. I've decided that I'm probably going to have to watch it from the stream, which is not ideal, but we're going to have to go with it that way. Hopefully not too far out on stream, but it's better than nothing so far. As we said, yeah, Javier Fernandez is making his way through into Sector 2, in towards a double left-hander, triple left-hander, maybe if you like. I like to call it a double left-hander. The DRS wide open to enter under the DHL sign in towards the yellow flag of Sector 2 and Sector 3. A lot of traffic backing up there in towards the tricky left-hander, which goes uphill a little bit. of a fast right-hander in towards a wobble and getting on towards the curve very aggressively. 2.5 tenths up, just over 2.5 tenths up on his personal best as he moves up towards the final. Looking like they have a good lap.
This will be an interesting one. We are probably going to see a jump in lap time. That puts Javier Fernandez up to 4th. And that, I believe, is the checkered flag on qualifying, so now it's just all to play for.
And absolutely is. One of the Alfa Romeos coming towards the line. Is that Tempest
It is.
or Neox? One of the two. It is Tempest. Yet to set a lap time. He rounds the final corner. 6.1 in Sector 3. I would love to know what it is live and across the line. It's only P11. So about exactly the same time as this Van Nagy as Conor Muir having a mistake on his. That comes towards a Williams who is that not 100% sure. Is that Theo McKee? Yes, it is. 12th is only the best he can manage with 1:27.908. One of the AlphaTauris next across the line. That's Maloney into P10 with a 27.843. Next up is the other Red Bull, Marcus Sauer. Can he snatch away pole position? No, he cannot. 27.372 to his name. The Ferrari. Bull and Ferrari cannot improve. The Aston Martin of Gordon N'Golo across the line. He only improves, but only 17th. I believe the Alpine peels into the pit lane. Shadu Fritzen across the line. Can he cause anything magic? No, he can't. 7th is the best he can do. Alex Broga currently on pole position. He does not improve. He abandons his lap time. Neox, I believe that is coming into the line, does not improve either. The only man that can beat him is F1 Legend. He's currently just a 10th.5 under his lap time. As he comes towards the line, can he try anything magic to dethrone Alex Broner? No, he cannot. It's P4 for him. Javier Fernandez just finishing his time. I believe that is everyone who has crossed the line. And Andre Molnar has retired. That is Van Nagy on his in lap. Javier Fernandez running the final corner, not improving. Alex Bolger is on pole position for the Bahrain sprint race.
Absolutely. Not too much change at the end there. And incidentally, it doesn't seem that the stream is too far behind, so it doesn't actually sound too far out with what you're saying, which is good.
Lovely.
So we have the positions for the sprint race, I believe. I've still got to get used to how sprints work, because it's qualifying dictates the sprint positions dictate the race positions. Correct?
Yes, that is.
Okay.
Pretty sure that is correct.
Okay, so if it isn't, apologise, but we have in positions Alex Bulger in first, followed by Marcus Stoll in second. Third is Boilen Ferrar. Fourth is F1 Legend 44. Javier Fernandez in fifth. Kador N'Golo in sixth. Fritzen in seventh. Andre Molnar in eighth. Tom Lobadash in ninth. And rounding out the top 10 is Maloney 88. I will not be able to finish the rest of the grid, and I am not going to attempt to, because I will hurt my voice. He will remove it before I can. And here comes the sprint race. First time this season, and that being said, at all, that this race will be run on a sprint. It'll be certainly very interesting. Now, will the formation lap be on?
I'm not 100% sure, actually. That is going to be something we'll have to find out.
Because I know it can cause desync, basically. There you go, I've said it. It can cause massive, massive lag issues with the game. So, we will see now whether the formation lap is on. Any second now. Yes, that is in fact the pit lane game. Well done. And now we wait. Right. Any second now we should move into the... No, that's the actual race start. We have 10 laps of this and we are away. Marcus Stoll jumping up into first with an exceptionally good start there on Alex Bulger, who's going to drop down to second, potentially going to lose it to the Ferrari. Oh, that is an absolute battle through the first corner between the Red Bull and the McLaren. That's immensely close between the two. There's not been too much drama there. Trying to get out of the slipstream. With the Ferrari of Bon and Ferrar just behind, losing a position and then gaining it back from Javier Fernandez. And Marcus Stoller is now moving away, and that is a car around. Is that F1 Legend? Yes, it is. But we will jump back to the front of the grid. As the drivers now start to reasonably settle in as much as they can. As that is a Mercedes very wide into that corner. You have to find a way to safely rejoin. That's the thing with sprint races. Not much time. Hopefully that looks good on your end. Marcus Stoller pulling out a pretty hefty lead so far. Almost 1.5 seconds. There's the fastest lap, obviously. Pulling out a lead that big, I would expect a driver to get the fastest lap of the race so far. As we come round into the end of the first sector. Marcus Stoll currently in first. Fionn McKee switching places with Cadorningolo, followed by Alex Bulger in second, Brian Ferrari in third, Tom Lobodash in fourth, and rounding out the top 5 is Javier Fernandez currently. And there is a car around. That is Conor Moore. Not sure what happened there, but it's definitely spun round, and we are seeing some positions switching around between the Mercedes of Istvan Nagy and Neox. Neox just about holding that position, and there is a very tight line of cars behind them. As that camera angle perfectly indicates just how close everything is to Mercedes going at it as well. Having a nice team battle back there. So all these cars just flying around, just trying to get that tiny bit of speed on their opponent. You've got Flitzen right at the back of the grid. Do not know what's happened there. Marcus Stoll with the fastest lap, but then Alex Bulger gets it even faster. So the question is Alex Bulger now lapping faster than the car of Marcus Stoller? There goes the Alpha Tauri of Maloney trying to get past Hasseth. Not quite managing to, but they have got to run up here under the DRS. Not quite managing to make that one stick. Just trying to keep an eye on everyone at the moment. You go, can I have a send by the Ferrari? Just sniffing up the inside. Not quite going to make that one work. That is actually going to lose the Ferrari time. And there is an Alpine right behind them. There's the Alpine, followed very, very closely by Nalves in the Alfa Romeo. Not much position change at the front, but there's all to play for further back the grid, because, of course, the higher you place at this, it doesn't matter where you were in qualifying, the higher you are in the sprint race, the further up the field you get in the main race. That is the car of Neox spun round in that difficult right-hander. As we mentioned before, Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull of Conor are having a little bit of a battle at the back, and that is a car into the back of the Alpine. That is Nalves straight into the back of the Alpine, and pretty certain that may have just been a misjudged braking zone. That will be interesting to see that one. Again, I'm sure that will be raised with the stewards. As Conor Moore moves through on the Alpine of Neox. How's everything going your end? If you're still there. Let's have a look. I may be on my own. Right now, I'm on my own for the time being. God love mic issues. Technology, everyone. Yes, we currently have the car of Mark going down the inside of Istvan Nagy. Are they going to make us stick tyres banging right there? And that Ferrari is going to make an exceptionally nice move on the Mercedes right there. Car's slowly starting to move apart, but Alex Borgia is slightly gaining. Slowly managing to catch back up. We are going to see the position changes. Let's just have a quick look at that. Important part, of course. Don't know why the telemetry is turned on. Okay. Important part is Hassith is way up on their previous positions. They're up 8 positions, followed by Mark up 7, and Fritzen down 11. We are seeing some small battles emerge further down the grid. The Aston of Hassith trying to hold off Maloney behind. And up at the front. No, not up at the front, because I just managed to catch a little bit of a battle between this Aston and Maloney side by side into this section of the track. They're going to be absolutely tight here. It's not a place you really want to be battling too hard. The Ferrari behind taking perfect advantage of the battle. As will they make a dive? No, not quite. That may have ended incredibly badly if they had. We've got the Haas battling with the Mercedes behind. Don't say that every day. Come round into that fast left onto the DRS zone, and that Aston will not have the DRS. Here comes the overspeed of Maloney to take the position off of Hassith. And a textbook move, but that is not going to put off Hassith. They are going to try and get that position back. Pushing a little bit too hard through this corner can end in tears. Thankfully, no one seems to be doing that just now. That Ferrari, however, is catching very quickly on Hassith behind. Will they lose a position? Mark is also up 7 positions, joint, because of obviously Hassith losing that position to the AlphaTauri. We are potentially going to see some positions change hands slightly further up the field. As Phil McKee is going to try and go down the inside of Kudor and Ngolo. Not quite going to make that stick, and that's immensely close between the two drivers. Wheel to wheel. And Kudor and Ngolo is going to hold that position just for now. Mark finally managing to get past Maloney, but Maloney dropping down on those two. Might there have been a mistake right there, potentially. So we are going to have Phil McKee up battling hard with that Aston of Kudor and Ngolo. Immensely close racing, especially between the drivers back here. All of them is basically a 3 group of drivers here. As that Mercedes is going to just slightly ghost through the car behind. Not sure what was going on there, but someone appeared to be ghosted. It was definitely an incredibly tight race here between these cars here, 2 wide across the straight. And they're all going to be right on each other going into this corner. This is going to be immensely close. If there's no contact, I will be astounded. And it looks like there was a spin. I'm not sure if that was contact. That is Neox around. As the Red Bull goes wide to ensure no contact is made. And I have noticed one thing that's very, very important here. Alex Bolger catching on Marcus Stahl. They were at 1.5 seconds. Now they're only at 1.2. We have got positions changing hands further down the field as well. I believe that is the car of Andre Molnar potentially trying to make a move on Kudor Ngolo and also Fiona McKee. That gap between Alex Bolger and Marcus Stahl still not dropping below the 2nd mark. Alex Bolger will want to get to that 2nd, of course, because of the DRS zone, and we do have the car of Andre Molnar just having a nice little drive around here. However, on the other front, there is a little bit of a battle here going on between the drivers as they bump wheels there. And they're still alongside each other. That Haas wanting that position immensely badly. And the Red Bull of Conor Moore behind, of course. Absolutely lapping that up. That's going to slow down the drivers ahead and allow him to catch straight back up. So we are also going to have Maloney just jumping around this corner here behind the Aston Martin. There is some proper battles going on here, and that is a move by F1 Legend on Istvan. Will they let them keep that position? Absolutely not. No chance, says Istvan, and they continue to hold that position. Elsewhere on the track, however, and I have to switch away from this, Alex Bulger is within DRS range of Marcus Stoller. Can they make this work? It's probably not going to be enough to get down the straight and catch back up with a Red Bull, but it's certainly going to help because that will put them in even better stead coming up to the next DRS section. Here we go now. It's probably still not going to be enough. This section isn't the greatest for catching up with drivers. It's not the longest, and I'm still not entirely sure why it's a DRS zone, but very close. The overspeed into the corner can sometimes throw drivers off. It did not throw them off at all, and it looks like I've lost my co-commentator in the box. That's okay. Potentially computer restart. Alex Bulger not giving Marcus Stoller any chance to breathe here. Big wheel spin from Alex Bulger there. That is not going to help, but he's still 0.3 of a second, and we are potentially going to see an overtake into this corner. There's only 2 laps to go, of course. Not many laps at all, and there is the DRS flap opening on the McLaren. Can the McLaren get the overspeed on the Red Bull? Not quite. As long as they hold that through to this next lap, but then it becomes advantage Marcus Stoller if he goes past, of course. Will he just let Marcus Stoller take the position into the last section of the track? And it all depends on who has held their tyres well. One is on softs, one is on mediums. It's not going to help into the corners. You would say, of course, advantage Marcus Stoller, but the point remains who has the older tyres. And Marcus Stoller's tyres will, oh, of course, who has the older tyres? It is, of course, Marcus Stoller, because the tyres are softer. And here we go. Overspeed from the McLaren. There's the speed coming up. Will they try and make a dive, or will they hold back? They're going outside. Nope, that is a let-off. He is going to let him have it, because otherwise he would give advantage to Marcus Stoller, of course, because it would put him into the position where he could then utilise the DRS against Alex Bulger. Apologies for jumping further back the field. We'll keep an eye on the standings, but right now we are potentially going to see Alex Bulger take pole position towards the end of this race. We will see. This is, of course, only the sprint race. We have the main race to come up, but these positions do decide the final grid for the main race. The Ferrari of Alan Ferraro is not far behind and will be within DRS. This is the corner where it could all go wrong if it's done badly, but that is done absolutely perfectly by Alex Bulger, and that is going to give the advantage to the McLaren. I would say they're not going to make this move. They're going to want to hold it, utilise that last lap. They'll want to leave this all the way to the end and then utilise the last corner. Want to be up right as close as possible. Will Marcus Stoller go tactical and realise what could happen? Let's see what goes on here. Those softs looking decidedly worn on the inside. And they are not going to want to go past. They are intentionally not passing, as they are going to try and keep this DRS right on the back end of the car of Marcus Stoller. Will they make the overtake? Let us see. Coming round onto the final lap of the sprint race. They are potentially going to hold their position. They are moving around to the outside, sticking there. That is not going to be enough just yet, but will they keep the DRS line? They're going to have the DRS line. They are on the mediums, of course. Those softs will not help Marcus Stoller. They will be slightly slippier. Here goes a potential move around the car of around the Red Bull. Still wheel to wheel. Going to back off into this section. It's going to be an immensely close race for the finish. These two are battling neck and neck. That Ferrari behind is also gaining time, and that is the Red Bull potentially moving out of the way. The McLaren's still there. The Red Bull's still in the lead, but only just. And that Ferrari is getting closer and closer by the second. Right, and oh dear God, that's the back of the McLaren just tapped by the Ferrari, and that is not going to help there whatsoever. But here we go, down past the DHL sign. These cars are all within 0.2 of a second from each other. That is not far at all. It could all come down to this final lap as McLaren is just battling with the back end of Marcus Stoller's Red Bull. Playing with the cars behind. Let's see if they can make this stick. This is where that overtake is going to want to come. That Red Bull giving no space at all. Alex Bulger in the lead provisionally towards the final corner. Can they make this stick round the corner? Through goes Alex Bulger. And they are still immensely close. And that is going to be Alex Bulger taking it on the line potentially. And that was an exceptional race. Just pipping Marcus Taller to pole. And that is Alex Bulger on pole for Bahrain Grand Prix here. Season 13 of World Online Racing. That was an immense sprint race and what we love to see. As cars behind, unfortunately, couldn't quite keep up with that. That was an immensely close final end to the race. But yes, shortly be able to see the standings and the positions for the main race. Of course, this is not the end of the stream just yet. Not the end of the racing. As Alex Bulger takes first in the sprint race. We now move on to the main race, of course, which all of this decided the positions from. So Alex Bulger maintains that pole position that he lost. So yes, here we go. Positions of the drivers in the sprint race. Alex Bulger in first, Marcus Taller in second, Boilen Ferrara in third, followed by Tom Lobodash in fourth, Javier Fernandez in fifth, Gordon Ngolo in sixth, Andre Molnar in seventh, Fionn McKee in eighth, Mark in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is Maloney 88. Following out behind that is Hassis, F1 Legend 44, Taz, Conor Alves, Istvan Nagy, Neox, and Fritzen. What a fantastic sprint race that'll be, and if that is the quality of racing that we're going to take through across to the main race, that is absolutely fine by me. That was a brilliant, brilliant sprint race. And now we wait to skip on to the next part. Here we go. The main race. I would say the one we've all been waiting for, but at the end of the day, we've just had a brilliant sprint race, so... Here goes. My voice is already going. Yay. As we await, apparently players. There we go, 30 seconds till race start. Not long now. Three lights, four lights, five lights. And away we go for the start of this race. Alex Bulger getting a good start, but has Marcus Taller got a better start? Absolutely not. Going down to the first corner. Marcus Taller's going to lose positions to two drivers potentially, as Marcus Taller is going to try and make the move down the inside of the Ferrari. And that's a car round already. Not around. They managed to save that. Somehow managed to keep the car on the road. And that is currently not a car round, but that, however, is. That is Tom Lobodash and Maloney round and Conor Weir by the looks. More than one car got spun there. There's some slow cars back there. There's Neox for 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag, probably from going down the inside of a car through that first corner. Andre Molnar dropping down slightly, as there is a almighty battle going on between a few cars here. Someone getting ghosted and going wide a little bit. There is all manner of absolute chaos happening here. Ooh, dear. Very, very close. Whoa, that was a nice little jump. Onto the car of Flitzen right down the inside of a Red Bull. Gonna make that stick. That is a Red Bull going very, very wide. Red Bull off Conor Weir. And the cars of Boilen Ferrara and Alex Bulger are just taking off into the sunset because everyone else is having nice little battles behind them and they're just stuff up there. Just like, sure, we'll take this. Alex Bulger with the fastest lap so far. Boilen Ferrara couldn't quite get the fastest lap as well. as there's already cars going into the pit lane, probably due to a little bit of damage. See, no moves quite yet. As cars are settling in a little bit, but that Williams is right up the back of Istvan Nee. That is Tom Lobodash going wheel to wheel, getting a lovely bit of overspeed through there. These drivers giving absolutely no chance for anyone else. They're just absolutely battling neck and neck across the field. While in Ferrari, on the other hand, that is Fionn McKee down a little bit. He's lost a couple of places, potentially going wide. He's going to rejoin just in front of the Haas of F1 Legend 44. F1 Legend getting mighty close to the back of his car. We're potentially going to see an overtake from that Haas at some point in this part of the lap. That is very, very close, having to go wide to avoid a collision. They are going to start moving around the outside. There is the Haas wheel to wheel with the Williams of Phil McKee. No injuries, and I think that was an incredibly fast, fastest lap change up there, unless there was a penalty, of course, that I missed. Here comes the Alfa Romeo of Neox taking advantage. Will Fionn be able to keep that position? That is going to be immensely close as they're going to stick it through that first corner. Very, very tight, but not quite enough. They are on the hard compound tyre. That will not help for grip as the Aston Martin of Hassith is going to attempt to make the move down the inside into that corner and absolutely going to complete that move. Potentially, we are going to see him still just in front of the wing, but that is the move complete. While in Ferrari, not exactly far away from Alex Bulger, as I believe the DRS will be activating soon, if not this lap. Are about to find out. There it is. Good old DRS flap. Just realised we do not have detail on the car. Where are you? There it is. Lovely. As Brian Ferrari will have the DRS coming down. And they are 0.02 of a second, just a tiny bit faster through that sector. There's all of the cars behind, really, really close, but we're going to keep an eye on this. Can Brian Ferrari make the move through the final corner? Not quite, because they're a little bit far back. However, they do have that wonderful, wonderful DRS to bring them back within firing range of Alex Bulger. Sorry. And that, of course, however, means that the majority of the main field also have DRS, as Taz is going to try and make a move on Fionn McKee. Massive lock-up from a car in front there. Not entirely sure whose car that was. I believe it was the Aston, which is going to give that Ferrari a chance. Bumping rubber there. There's just the front wing of the Ferrari just poking down the inside. There are, of course, both very similar pace, and that is leaving absolutely no room for error. The hard tyres of that Ferrari battling with the mediums of the Alpine of Taz. Currently no move from Boalem, but they are right up behind Alex Bulger on this sector now. No moves quite further down the field. All drivers still sticking relatively close to each other. No one wanting to lose positions, of course. No one wants to lose a position. That is the fastest lap so far, set by Boalem Ferrari by the looks. Our drivers coming up very, very quick behind each other on the straights. There goes the Alfa Romeo of Neox. I believe not Neox, apology. Yes, Neox. Down the inside, trying to hold that position on the Haas, but can't quite make it work. Fleetson dropping back 2 places further down the field. As now we're having a bit of a battle between the 2 cars here, the Haas and the Alfa. Neck and neck into that corner. a little bit of a bump from the Haas saying, hello, I'm still here. Remember me? And it's definitely still there even now. And Aston Martin obviously is catching up mighty quick. Will there potentially be a move from Bahrain Ferrari here? They are definitely catching up, but no cigar just yet. Fifth lap out of 29. Still within the DRS range, 7 seconds ahead of the driver behind. Interesting part, of course, will be when everyone will have to change tyres. A lot of people starting on the hard compounds, inevitably switching to the soft or mediums. Not enough of an overspeed for the car to catch up there, but we are going to switch to Neox. See what's happening further down the field. Car already into the pits. That is a Mercedes. That is going to have to be evasive action by Neox to avoid going into the back end of the Alpine. Currently got drivers battling behind up the field. The Williams, Ferrari and Aston Martin, but now we have one of Ferrari dropping back a little bit on the car of Bulger. Still not quite managing to make that stick. They are both on exactly the same tyres. But the question is when/if will we see our first safety car? As the two drivers move on to the back straight now, here they go. Boal and Ferrari still within the DRS zone. Not going to have enough, and I believe that means that he's probably utilising his ERS. Not really. Much more aggressive use of the ERS from Boal and Ferrari. Are going to have an Alfa Romeo of Neox side by side with that Alpine. Alpine just letting the position go, not worth having an accident. All those cars feed through the first corner. Will now have the opportunity to catch back up with the lead car. Still not quite within reaching distance just yet. But potentially will be come this final corner. Here we go. Can they make this stick? Just gotta not spin on that curb. And still not gaining. Not enough anyway. There's all the cars behind attempting to go through. That is a Haas. Go down the inside of Javier Fernandez right there. What a move by F1 legend. Just have the Williams is switching places with an Alpine. And at some point during this race, we are going to have cars being lapped by the looks. No movement as of yet. Bottom for us, still the same distance they have always been. As the DRS train continues a chugging. Very close battle up here. F1 Legend looking to take another position by the looks. At least attempting to. As we do have Javier Fernandez in the pit. And here are the two current top two drivers in this race, Alex Bulger and Bolan Ferrar. All this will come down to, very much so, is that first pit stop. Javier Fernandez switching on to the hard tyres. Are going to see them trying desperately to catch up with Alex Bulger. They will want to go into the first. Everyone wants to sit at least in first position during a race, but it's whether they'll try and undercut and just go into the pits. Because those tyres are going to get to the point about halfway mark is when I'd say they'll probably do a tyre switch. At least consider it. Race leaders always, of course, hope for a safety car. That'll be the best case scenario because don't lose as much time. One in front now gets a chance to chase down that McLaren. Still not quite enough. However, further down the field, Neox will be wanting to make their move on the Aston Martin ahead. There will be cars trying to take positions, for instance, such as the car of Mark. Down the inside of the Williams of Leon McKee. And making that stick. That's immensely close to the cars back here. However, Neox is right at the back end of an Aston Martin ahead, and that Haas behind of F1 Legend will definitely want to catch up with this group. Certainly has. Going down into the left and then left again. And that Haas has just managed to get right onto the back end of the car ahead. Quite close enough to make a move. Here comes Bolan Ferrar, a little bit closer than last time, slowly gaining every lap. But still not quite enough. 5/10 off now. And Mark getting the fastest lap of the race down in 7th position. Bolan Ferrar does seem to lose time in that sort of first to second sector, but then gains it back on the latter end of the track. Going to see how that works out. These are almost a second off. Now they are a second off. They've got to stick within that second if they want to get that DRS. They just gained the DRS zone. So Alex Borgia goes top of the fastest lap. A big snap and oversteer there. One of ours starting to fall back now. Potentially the tyres starting to lose a little bit of their effectiveness. And the question is, who will pit first? Well, Ferrari definitely will not have the DRS coming on to this next lap, which will just allow Alex Borgia to continue to pull away. The question is, will one for us switch to the soft tyres at any point, or will they go for the hards? There is a yellow flag in the sector 3, however, nothing doing right now. I'm going to jump down onto the Mercedes of Andre Molnar, as well as this Van Nagy behind. And into the pits goes Alex Borgia, and followed by Boal and Ferrari, both of them diving straight into the pits. What are the tyres going to be? That is the question. So we have the Ferraris out with the hards, and Borgia also going for the hard tyres. Straight out, great pit stop from both drivers. As Marcus Stoller jumps into the lead of the race. Potentially going to see a move from field. Mookie on F1 legend, bumping tyres, not losing control of the car, thankfully. As they're going to be pushed very wide by the Haas. Not having that, they're going to stay very close. They will want to keep the position now. They're going to send it past that car. That was an exceptionally good move, and they're going to hold that position for now. Well, the Haas will want to catch back up pretty much immediately. Will we see more drivers pitting in the main bulk of the field now? Because, of course, the 13-lap advantage on tyres is quite a considerable one. So here comes F1 legend behind the Williams of Fionn McKee. Easiest corners to take it at high speed. No drivers quite yet utilising the pit lane. Here, of course, is Alex Borgia down in 11th, just behind Fleetson. Whereas up in front, Godonigolo is going to want to take that first position from Marcus Thorler. Here comes a lot of cars all across the track. The Alfa Romeo of Neox battling with Cadorningolo into this corner. Dame Williams is going to take advantage of that and try and get through as well. Not quite going to make that stick. Going up into this section of the track. The Haas has been an exceptionally aggressive but fair driver. Aggressive driving is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a racing style. As it's going to make a move rounding outside of the Williams. Ophio McKee just trying to stick with it now. This is going to be an immensely close move. Will they make it stick for the final corner? Yes, they will, just about. And that is the Williams receding behind the Haas. And that is Williams diving into the pit lane, by the looks. Absolutely is. There's 3 cars drop into the pit lane. Marcus Thorne in the pits, along with Cadorningolo. One and Farrar just overtaking everyone. And here come the leaders again. 5 drivers at the pit lane now. And that is a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is a car round. Can they get themselves moving again? They can. Thank goodness. Just need to watch out for that Mercedes behind of Andre Molnar, who has now managed to move himself up into 8th position. Excellent rise through the field by them. As there is now this small group at the front. Question is, can Boilen Farrar and Alex Bulger manage to make their way back towards the front of the field? Drivers using all available space of the track to ensure that they get as much time chopped off the lap times as possible. And Mark is the next driver who's very likely going to be considering the pit lane. But he is on the hards, of course. It doesn't necessarily mean he has to pit. And here we go into the pit lane. That is not a feint. They are into the pit lane. Neox staying out. Mark going in. They're going to be switching onto the medium compound tyres. And they should exit in front of the car of Cadorningolo. So they should still be in the top 10 if this is an almighty long pit lane, however, and the cars do get some speed down that straight. And Neox currently in provisional first place. However, there are other cars of Tom Lobadash and F1 Legend very close behind. They will be wanting to make the move at some point. Slightly further back, here comes Alex Bulger, making their way back up from the early pit stop. And Boilen Farrar not far behind. They're going to want to get into those positions that can enable them to have that DRS. It's going to be incredibly important pushing towards the latter stages of the race. Not much change in positions currently, hence why it's a tiny bit quiet. Do a quick rundown. We've got Neox in first, followed by F1 Legend in second, Tom Lobadash in third, Hassith in fourth, Alex Bulger up from the pit stop in fifth, rounding out the top 5. Boilen Farrar in sixth, Andre Molnar in seventh, Taz in eighth, Mark in ninth, and Cadorningolo in 10th. Some drivers just getting the fastest lap. Fionn McKee just holding that right now. He's in 11th, followed by Fleetson, Marcus Thorler, who just got the next fastest lap. Istvan Javier Fernandez, Maloney 88, Conor and Nalvez rounding out the grid. So Alex Bulger is going to make a nice little move on the Aston of Hasith, who is going to try and get back. I'm not too sure how much there is he can do. Always looks like these cars are just firing a Roman candle into the face of the car behind. I don't condone firing Roman candles anywhere near people's faces, but it does look like they're just releasing like some sort of countermeasure to an attack. Oh, and that is Tom Lobadesh around. Evidently knocking out the position, which does bump Alex Bulger into third. The cars ahead had to pit, and they may have to pit somewhere soon. Into the pits comes Neox, outstays F1 legend, which will put Alex Bulger up into second position. He will now be chasing down that lead car of F1 legend, who will have to pit before the end of the race. Almost less than 10 laps to go. Just to impersonate the guy from America, still best guy in an F1 broadcast ever. From down this back straight, we do have a lot of positions changing on the main straight right now. That is purely because of pit lanes, as Marcus Stoller is going to make the move round into 8th position. That McLaren is still very, very close behind, however. Lorningolo is close to the back of the Ferrari of Mark. Roland Ferrari now back into 3rd position, but not far close enough for that DRS. Whereas Alex Bulger, on the other hand, is absolutely close enough for the DRS and will be speeding up down this straight. Let's see if they can make any moves on F1 Legend towards the end of this lap. Ooh, and that's a send. That's down the inside, putting off the Haas just a little bit. You can see them a tiny bit wobbly through that corner, just going, not entirely sure what they want to do. However, it's not going to work entirely in Bulger's favour because of the DRS, but that doesn't matter because in goes the Haas, having to pit inevitably. And now we are back to our original first and second, which is Alex Bulger and Roland Ferrari. Less than 10 laps to go now. Alex Bulger will want to just keep this up. These tyres will last him to the end of the race. You are going to see a move by Fleetson up the inside of F1 Legend, who is now dropping very far back thanks to that pit stop. The Aston of Hasith behind the McLaren. About the McLaren, I'm getting confused with McLaren Mercedes now. Behind the Mercedes of Ispandegi. Positions changing hands further down the field. Got a few cars on soft tyres. Inevitably will be able to take those to the end of the race. We're potentially going to see a move by Hasith on this Mercedes. Going into the DRS zone, very close to the back of the car. A little bit of wheel spin out that corner, but here comes the overspeed because that Mercedes does not have the DRS of the car in front. I'm going to take that curb a little too much. That's what you don't want to do. It will slow you down. Andre Molnar into the pits because of the 20-lap-old hard tyres. Here comes the Sith just catching up, slowly but surely. They will make use of this DRS, I am sure, coming onto this straight now. There goes the Aston Martin round. Tom Lobadesh with the fastest lap of the race with a sub 130. And through goes the car of Neox on Fleetson. It's going to be close. That is a yellow flag. In the first corner, will they be able to move their car? Yes, they will. Thank goodness. Round the sign. Hopefully not going to get a flag for that, but going to get the DRS. Should allow, at least allow them to crash up a tiny, tiny bit. As Fleetson is close, but Tempest Navas gets a 3-second time penalty. For what? I am not sure. Alex Bulger still off in the lead, 4 seconds ahead of Buana Ferrar and 13 seconds between Buana Ferrar and Mark. That is a yellow flag again. That, I believe, is for the car of Taz, absolutely. Drivers giving each other exactly as much and no more room than is needed in this race, which is what you love to see. Good hard racing. We are going to have the car of his... Hey, apologies. We are going to have the car of a Sith, and that is a car around on the pit straight. That is not a good thing. They are moving, and that is a good thing. Back where we were with the car of a Sith, who is going to be behind the Haas of F1 legend, as Maloney DNFs. In the pits. Hopefully that does not bring out the safety car. For some reason, a car in the pits brings out a yellow flag. It is, however, moving. That is not a good thing. But for now, that one's moving. Alex Bulger will certainly not want a safety car right now. That car is now out into the first sector, and that is not a good thing. I am going to jump on board with Tempest Nalvez, just to see where that car's going to stop. It should have driven itself just off the track. There it is, right there. It's off the track. It shouldn't be a problem, and it is not. It is cleared, and we are good to go. Alex Bulger keeping that first spot. Cameraman, not so lucky. Kadorningolo is being chased down by the Williams behind. And another driver who is in danger as well as F1 legend is Sith is going to get a massive overspeed on the Haas and take that position for themselves. As Taz gets the fastest lap of the race so far. Right now, the close battles are incidentally not with the top three. They are actually in the midfield. As Phil McKee is catching up with the car ahead of Kadorningolo. Will have the run on Mark, I am sure. Not quite enough to make the move, but here comes the car of Fion catching up with the Aston Martin, potentially going to make a move down the inside into the first corner, and that was an exceptionally nice dive bomb. But they are going to just about hold it, having to go wide and tiny bit onto the gravel to take that one, and that did not end out very well at all. F1 Legend is immensely close to the car behind. And we are migrating host. That is never a good thing to see. Thank goodness we're only 5 laps to the end, but here we go. the yellow flag, car around. And we're in sector 2. And it's just going to spin it with the tyres again, hot tyres. Andre Molnar gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Oh dear, oh dear. And we're having a little spin, having a little bit of a spin fest right now. At the end of this, we'll only have a few laps remaining. We do have a car round, however, in that last sector, and that is Colin Weir, I believe. Oh, is Colin Weir potentially going to bring out the safety car if he does that one too many times? And or beaches. And that is a crash on the pit lane entry, I believe. And thank goodness that car is in the pits. However, it will yellow flag the main straight as the car is just about to drive onto it. That's sector 3 as well. Slow car in sector 1. Very slowly, not sure who that is. But all yellow flags have been cleared. Now we are good. As Neox is very close to the back of the McLaren. Is a car on a yellow flag. I'm not sure why that keeps coming up, but we will see at some point, I'm sure. With the Alfa Romeo of Neox right behind Fleetson. Another yellow flag. That is the car of Tom Lobodash, whose game I believe crashed, but it's not going to be giving the game too much fun. And Alex Bulger will be praying for all his might for no safety car, and that looks like the driver might be back in control of the car. This car rolls neatly into the pits. Colin Farrar just a little bit too far back to make any moves there, but here comes F1 legend down the inside of the Aston Martin of Hasith, as per usual. This car's immensely close. This will get the DRS. Through goes Assist. Great move by the Aston Martin driver there. We are going to see these drivers come round into the final few laps. Not many remaining now. Incidentally, positions have remained reasonably stable throughout this race, so the Mercedes of Ispan Naki right on the back of that Haas. The teammate not far behind. these drivers, of course, will have the DRS. We'll see how well they all use them, if at all. If they work, basically. They will use them, but will it be of benefit? It's certainly going to be a benefit, I believe, to the car of F1 legend, who is going to get a nice little bit of an overspeed on the Aston Martin. Definitely catching up now. There goes the move around the outside. Wheel to wheel with the Aston. Very, very close racing here. Aston's going to get a bit of a speed boost on the Haas because no DRS. And that is the Haas into the side of the Aston Martin. Oh, dearie me. But the Haas is also going to therefore get a bit of a disadvantage because it slowed itself down. Actually, they got moving again, but Javier Fernandez is going to get a nice little boost. And that Aston has boiling tyres, I am sure. And now we have a Mercedes sandwich with a Haas in the middle. Here comes F1 legend. Now onto the final lap of the race. Question is, can these two Mercedes teammates both get past F1 legend? That is a very wide corner. No one going to get a penalty there, I hope. Not quite. We are going to see Kadorningolo with a little bit of overspeed on Mark. The battle for third place is really hotting up into this final lap, and this is really where the action is going to happen. And the battle for the points with Andre Molnar and F1 Legend. Of course, Andre Molnar will have the speed boost, but F1 Legend will also have that too, as Kadorningolo is right behind Mark. Very, very close coming into this final part of the race. Alex Bulger still in the lead. Coming into the final section of the race, Hassis gets a 3-second time penalty. Andre Molnar, of course, also has a penalty, which means they will probably drop down. They have a 3 seconds. They're probably, no matter if they manage to overtake or not, going to stick in this position. That being said, Kadorningolo still behind Mark. I don't think it's going to be enough as Alex Borgia comes across the line to take the win, followed swiftly by Boal Farah in second. And we are most likely going to see Mark 313 come across the line in third unless an absolute miracle happens. No, there we go, across the final part of the track. Opening the DRS just the last second, but not quite enough. Marcus Stordo coming across the line just behind Fionn McKee, who is in 5th and in 6th. And we are potentially going to see a move by the Haas down the inside into the final corner. The Mercedes goes wide, and that gives the Haas 9th position just on the last corner. Those cars coming across the line very, very close to each other. And what a race we had there. We'll wait all the drivers to cross the line. And then we will be able to see the final standings, and the stream will have to swiftly end after that because of the fact that my computer is heating up to unreasonable levels and will most likely set on fire if I don't. Welcome to the heat wave right now. Just await the timer to run down, and there we go. Bulger is the winner of the second race of the season. Fantastic performance in qualifying, the sprint race, and of course the final race as well. Fritzen for the position changes. I assume he's getting driver of the day by the game there. And here is your winner, Alex Bulger. Fantastic win for them. And that being said, we move on to the final results of the race weekend. It gives us Alex Bulger winning the race weekend, followed by Boal Farah. followed by Marcus Stall in third, Kadorningolo in fourth, Mark 313 in fifth, Fionn McKee in sixth, Friedson in seventh, Tom Lobodash in eighth, Javier Fernandez in ninth, followed by Neox rounding out the top 10. Andre Molnar in 11th, F1 Legend 44 in 12th, this is Van Nagy in 13th, Hassis in 14th, Taz in 15th, Nalves in 16th, Conor Moore in 17th, and Maloney 88 rounding out the field in 18th position. What a race that was. Thank you so much to all the drivers for racing. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. And thank you very much for World on Racing for giving me the opportunity to commentate this season. And we will see you in the next race. Which incidentally, I may as well bring up now. The next race will be in Miami, which will certainly be an interesting one to see. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the drivers. And I will see you in the next race.
Alfie is a WOR race winner.
Jensen makes it 5 in a row.
Danny Berejnay wins on debut.
Shanaka returns to winning ways in WOR.
Season 12 sees a new man. It's Shadow. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jensen is the new king of PlayStation.
From the back row of the grid, against all odds, Nicholas Longy wins the title.
Goes past the safety car.
What has gone on here?
Bourbon spins.
Stunning move from the Spaniard.
He's taken out Rambo. Here comes Longy.
We're going 4 wide down to turn 1.
Oh, he's taking him out.
The captain riders complete. Tomek to the inside.
Shadow wins the Brazil. Absolutely sensational.